It's time to move on. After almost 20 years of working closely with literally hundreds of condominium corporation boards and managers in many different municipalities, we've learned something. Well, we've learned a lot of things, but we want to focus on one particular thing: the need to move on. No, we're not talking about us. We're still here to provide legal advice and assistance to condominiums throughout the province. What we're talking about, and who we're talking about, is you. Yes, you, condo boards, owners, and managers. It's time to move on. To move on from the same petty disputes time after time, and especially to move on from beliefs like, if we just make that rule, or if we just tweak that bylaw, or if we just put this or that practice into place, everything wrong with our community will be miraculously fixed. Moving on from these ideas is a key to minimizing and being better able to resolve disputes. Moving on from them is necessary if you want to ensure your budget and your property maintenance practices are practical, appropriate, efficient, and effective. Moving on from those ideas is critical if you really want your condominium to be the better place to live or work or play or whatever that you hope it could be. We don't mean, however, that you never need to adjust your rules, bylaws, declarations, or policies and practices. Of course you will. But what you really need is to move on to an awareness of the importance of more fundamental things. What's more fundamental than your governing documents? Well, frankly, your attitude, and more especially, the ideas that underlay it. More often than not, we have observed that conflicts in condominiums revolve primarily around attitudes, and in those cases, mainly bad ones. So when we say it's time to move on, we mean that it's time that condominium stakeholders shifted their focus from the superficial trappings and technicalities of condominium living and started to really consider fundamental principles. A principle is a foundational idea that serves as the basis for other notions, plans, and actions. If we're continually focused on the external components of managing and living in condominiums, things like voting methods, forms of communication, expenses, noise, and smoking, and don't look beneath them for the principles that prompt and direct why we believe these things matter and how we deal with them, we are more likely to experience anxiety, confusion, and that unpleasant experience of discovering that all our time and effort expended on solving one problem has merely led us into another. When you think that your rules, bylaws, practices, policies, and other provisions of your condominium's governance or management need to change, we want you to start first by considering why you think they do, and what impact those changes will have on the basic character of your community. In other words, we invite condominium stakeholders to reason more deeply about the things they want to do and the kind of community they want to have. So perhaps when we say it's time to move on, what we really mean is it's time to move up to a higher level of awareness, understanding, and therefore application of the rules and ideas that define your condominium community. We believe that changes made on this basis are more likely to make lasting improvement than any other tinkering will do. And that's today's good advice for condominiums from Clifton Kok LLP.